Today we will be revisiting rational numbers and their decimal expansion. As we all know that rational numbers have two types of decimal expansion. One is that they can have terminating decimal expansion or they can have non-terminating but repeating decimal expansion. These are the two types of decimal expansions for rational numbers. Let's take some examples. For example, if I take a rational number as say 3 by 8, its decimal expansion will come out to be 0.375 and it will terminate after this. Suppose I take 13 upon 125, I will get 0.104 and it will stop after this. If you take 7 by 80, 0.0875, and if you actually divide and check out, these are going to be the decimal expansions of these numbers. And on the other hand, if I take a number say 1 by 7, its decimal expansion will be 0.142857 and again so on. 1 ke baad again it will start repeating 142857 and so on. So we have all these four, they are the rational numbers, but first three rational numbers, they have a terminating decimal representation, whereas the fourth one has a non-terminating but a repeating decimal representation. Now how do we see, just by looking at a rational number, how will you find out whether the given rational number will have a terminating decimal expansion or a non-terminating repeating decimal expansion? For that, we have to first of all see that first point is that the rational number should be in the lowest form. That means if the number is in the form of P by Q, then P and Q should be co-prime. That is the main criteria that you have to remember, that P and Q should be co-prime. There should not be any common factor in P and Q, or you can say P by Q should be in the lowest form. That is the first step. Second step is that we will look at the prime factorization of the denominator. If the prime factorization of the denominator contains the powers of 2 only, like 2 to the power n, or powers of 5 only, say 5 to the power n, or both the powers of 2 as well as 5, in that case we say the given rational number will have a terminating decimal expansion. But if the denominator has powers of 2, 5 and some other factor as well other than 2 and 5, then we say it will have a non-terminating repeating decimal. Now we will explain this with few examples. For example, if I go back to these examples, first one is 3 by 8. Now first of all check out, is 3 by 8 in lowest form or not? 3 by 8 is in the lowest form. So second step is to check the prime factorization of the denominator, which is 8. So prime factorization of 8 is 2 into 2 into 2. In exponential form I can write it as 2 raised to the power 3. So as the denominator contains only the powers of 2, hence it has a terminating decimal, and that you can see from this also. Earlier we had written it has a terminating decimal expansion. Second was your 13 by 125. Again 13 by 125 is in the lowest form. How do you check out that they do not have any common factor? 13 and 125, they do not have any common factor because 13 is a prime number. 125 prime factorization doesn't contain 13. So we say they are in the lowest form. And now if I look at the prime factorization of the denominator, which is 125, I will write it as 5 into 5 into 5, and that will give me 5 cube. That means the prime factorization of the denominator contains only the powers of 5. Hence, this is also this will also have a terminating decimal expansion, and as we wrote earlier that the decimal expansion of this number 13 by 125 is 0.104. So both ways we have clarified here. This is by actual division we found it as a terminating decimal, and this is by the rule that we have found that it should have only the factors of the denominator should only be 2 or 5 or both 2 and 5. And now suppose if I take another number, say 7 by 80. Again 7 by 80 is in the lowest form. Now what is the prime factorization of 80? That is equal to 2 raised to the power 4 into 5. This you all know how to find out the prime factorization. So 2 to the power 4 into 5 raised to the power 1. So as the denominator contains the powers of 2 and 5 only, hence we will say it will have a terminating decimal. Also earlier when I wrote these numbers, I told you the decimal expansion of this number is 0.0875, which is a terminating decimal. This we have obtained by division, by long division, and this we have obtained by the rule that if the denominator contains only the powers of 2 or 5 or both 2 and 5, then we say the decimal expansion of the rational number will be a terminating decimal expansion. Now suppose I take a number 3 upon 56. Again 3 and 56, they are in lowest form. Now if I look at the denominator, prime factorization of 56 is 7 into 8 is 56. 8 can be written as 2 cube into 7 to the power 1. This is the prime factorization of 56. 2 raised to the power 3 into 1. Now as the denominator contains the powers of 2 and there is number other than 2 and 5, then we will say it will have a non-terminating repeating decimal expansion. And this you can check out actually by the long division method. You will never find it terminating. It will go on and on. You keep on dividing and it will never end. So it is non-terminating, but it will start repeating after some time. So it is a non-terminating repeating expansion. Now suppose I take a number as 3 by 24. Okay. Now in this case, if I start with the prime factorization of denominator, which is 24, that is 3 into 8, which is equal to 3 into 2 square. So by looking at the prime factorization of 24, I will say because it has a factor other than 2 and 5, so it will have a non-terminating repeating decimal. But that is a wrong answer. Why the answer is wrong? Because we forget the first step. The first step was that these two numbers should be in the lowest form, which is not the case in this way. So 3 1s are 3, 3 8s are 24. So the lowest form is 1 by 8. Now the prime factorization of 8 is equal to 2 cube. As it contains the powers of 2 only, hence it will be a terminating decimal. So if you don't convert the given rational number in the lowest form, then you will not get the correct answer. So that is very important to get the number in the lowest form first of all. Now suppose I take a number as 7 square upon 441, and I simply ask you, is this number, this is a rational number, will it have a terminating decimal or a non-terminating repeating decimal? So first of all we need to check out whether they are in the lowest form or not. Children, if you remember the squares of the numbers, half of the things become very easy for you. You know 441 is a square of 21. So we can immediately write it as 21 into 21. So we get 7 into 7 upon 21 into 21, which gives you 1 upon 9. Now here the prime factorization of the denominator contains the factors other than 2 and 5. So it will be a non-terminating repeating decimal. Another example is, suppose I take a number as 441 into 13 divided by 2 raised to the power 3, 5 raised to the power 2 into 7 raised to the power 2. If this is a number in front of you and I simply ask you, tell whether this rational number will have a terminating decimal expansion or a non-terminating repeating decimal expansion. These are the only two options for rational numbers. So either of them it has to be. So what do we think? First of all, let's see if there is anything common in the numerator and denominator. If you will not remove the common part, then you might get a wrong answer. For example, if you look at the denominator, you will say there is a factor 7 which is other than 2 and 5, so it should have a non-terminating repeating decimal. But that is not the case in this, because 221 is a square of, 441 is a square of 21. So 21 into 21 into 13, 2 raised to the power 3, 5 raised to the power 2, 7 raised to the power 2. I can write 7 raised to the power 2 as 7 into 7. So this 7 will get cancelled, this 7 will get cancelled. In the numerator we are left with 9 into 13 divided by 2 raised to the power 3 into 5 raised to the power of 2. So now once this factor has been removed, 7 square, now we are left with only the powers of 2's and 5's in the denominator. Hence we can say it will have a terminating decimal. The numerator does not make any difference. Whatever numbers are present in the numerators, it will not make any difference to the decimal expansion. The only thing that makes difference is the denominator. So denominator, after converting the rational number in the lowest form, if the denominator has only 2 powers of 2 or only the powers of 5 or the combination of powers of 2's and 5, then we can say it will have a terminating decimal. Otherwise it will have a non-terminating repeating decimal if there is a factor other than 2 and 5 in the denominator. Now suppose if I want to generalize this statement, I will say now the statement is, if P by Q is a rational number in the lowest form, and this is given to us in the lowest form, whose decimal expansion terminates. Okay, P by Q is a rational number in the lowest form whose decimal expansion terminates. What can you say about the denominator of this rational number? Your answer should be, if you say it in the statement form, you can say it should have the powers of 2's and 5's only. But if I write it in the mathematical form, I will say Q should be of the form 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m, where n and m can be any powers. But any means what? What type of numbers n and m should be? Can n and m be negative numbers? For example, if I say 2 raised to the power minus 1 into 5 raised to the power minus 2, both these numbers will go down in the denominator. We do not want 1 by 2 or 1 by 5 as the factor. We want 2's and 5's as the factors. So we cannot have negative powers here for n and m. Can we have 0? Yes, I can have 0. Suppose if I have something like this, then I have only powers of 5. So 0 is allowed. I can also have 2 raised to the power 5 into 5 to the power 0, or 2 raised to the power 3 into 5 raised to the power 2. All these three cases are possible. So what can you say about n and m? That n and m should be what kind of numbers? They should be non-negative integers. Now non-negative integers and positive integers, do they mean the same or they are two different types of numbers? Non-negative integers and positive integers. Some of the children say that they are same, but they are not same. They are different types of numbers. For example, you have a number line here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. On the left side I have all negative numbers here. So if I say mark the positive numbers will start from the right side of 0, excluding 0, because 0 is not positive, not negative. Neither positive nor negative. 0 is a neutral number. So we will not take it under the category of positive or negative numbers. So when I say positive integers means accepting 0, all the numbers after 0 will be positive integers. Similarly, if I say negative integers, leaving out 0, all the numbers on the left hand side of 0 will be called negative integers. So when we define integers, we say positive counting numbers, negative counting numbers and the number 0 together constitute integers. So 0 doesn't come under the category of positive or negative. So if I say here n and m are positive integers, it means I am ruling out the possibility of having 0 as the power of any of these numbers. So instead of saying positive integers, I will say non-negative. When I say non-negative means I am just from the entire list of integers, I am just removing the non-negative numbers. I am removing the negative numbers. So leaving out 0, all the numbers on the left hand side of 0 I am removing. So I will be left with these numbers. These are called non-negative integers. Starting from 0 and all the positive integers, they are known as non-negative integers. So you've understood the meaning. Now we will generalize it in the form of the theorem. Now the theorem says, it's there in your NCERT book, theorem number 1.5. Just read the statement very carefully, because these statements, they do come as MCQs or fill in the blanks in your exam as 1 marker questions many a times. So here the statement is, let x be a rational number whose decimal expansion terminates. It means I have been given that this is a rational number with a terminating decimal expansion. It terminates. Then x can be expressed in the form p by q, where p and q are co-prime, and the prime factorization of q is of the form 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. I hope it's clear to you. Just now I explained you that if I know that any rational number has a decimal expansion which terminates, it means it can be written in the form of p by q, where both p and q are co-prime, and the prime factorization of the denominator is of the form 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m, which there is very important to mention, n and m are non-negative integers. Please don't make it positive integer. Non-negative doesn't mean only positive. Non-negative includes 0 and positive integers both. So that is your theorem number 1.5, where it was given that the decimal expansion of a rational number terminates. Then you know how to write the prime factorization of the denominator. It is of this form. Now the next theorem is 1.6. It says, let x is equal to p by q be a rational number such that the prime factorization of q is of the form 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. Now here I am not saying that it terminates or it doesn't terminate. I am saying the prime factorization of the denominator, like q, is of the form 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. Then what can you say about the decimal expansion of p by q? We will say it will have a decimal expansion which terminates. It is a reciprocal, the converse of theorem number 1.5. So I hope both the statements are clear. If p by q it's given that the decimal expansion terminates, if it is given to us, then we say q will be in the form of 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m. Whereas if it is given that the decimal expansion of p by q is of the form this, then what do we conclude? That its decimal expansion will terminate. If this is given, then this is our conclusion, and if this is given, then this is the conclusion. I hope both the statements are clear to you. Now the last theorem in your textbook is theorem number 1.7, which says, let x is equal to p by q, where p and q are co-prime, be a rational number such that the prime factorization of q is not of the form 2 to the power n into 5 raised to the power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. Then what do you conclude about x? Then we will say x will have a decimal expansion which is non-terminating and repeating. So I hope all the three statements are clear to all of you. And now let's start with exercise 1.4. Now exercise 1.4 says, first question, without actually performing the long division, state whether the following rational numbers will have a terminating decimal expansion or a non-terminating repeating decimal expansion. Because you know, rational numbers have only two types of decimal expansion, either terminating or non-terminating repeating. So out of all the given numbers, you have to decide whether they have a terminating decimal expansion or a non-terminating repeating decimal expansion. And now in question number 2 it says, write down the decimal expansion of those rational numbers in question number 1 above which have terminating decimal expansion. So we will do question number 1 and 2 simultaneously. If the given rational number has a terminating decimal expansion, then we will find out its decimal expansion as well, because it has a terminating decimal expansion. If it doesn't have a terminating decimal expansion, we will not find out the decimal expansion of that number. So we are going to start with question number 1 and 2 together. Now the first part of question number 1 is 13 by 3125. Okay, so now we know first we need to find out the prime factorization of the denominator 3125. Now 13 and 3125, they do not have any common factor. Without even finding the prime factorization of 3125, I can say that anyway, because okay, 3125 is actually 5 raised to the power 5. So now you can see 13 upon 5 raised to the power 5. They do not have any common factor. That means they are co-prime numbers. Now look at the prime factorization of the denominator. It contains only the powers of 5. So it will have a terminating decimal expansion. Now in question number 2 says, all the numbers which have terminating decimal expansion, write down their decimal expansion as well. So what do you think? Is it easy for you to divide and then write down the decimal expansion of 13 upon 3125? Dividing by a 4-digit number is not that easy. So let's find out an easier way of doing these questions. If you have to find out the decimal expansion, then first write down the prime factorization of the denominator. Now here it is 5 raised to the power 5. If I multiply and divide it by 2 raised to the power 5, why I am doing it with 2 raised to the power 5? Because you know the combination of 5 and 2 gives you 10. And if there are 5 powers of 5, I need 5 powers of 2 as well in the denominator. So I have multiplied the denominator with 2 raised to the power 5. And by whatever number I am dividing multiplying the numerator, I have to divide the numerator also by the same number. Otherwise the number itself will change. So the numerator is 13 into, now what is 2 to the power 5? It is 32. Divided by 5 to the power 5 into 2 to the power 5. I can write it as 5 into 2 raised to the power 5. And that gives me 416 in the numerator, divided by 10 raised to the power 5, which is equal to 416 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros are there, or even if you don't write it this way, this is okay. Now after how many places of decimals? It will terminate 0.00416, because there are 5 zeros in the denominator. We'll start counting from the last digit 1, 2, 3. We'll put 2 zeros to make it 5 and then put a decimal point here. So this is the decimal expansion of the given rational number. This way the calculation has become so easier. Now there can be 3 types of questions that can be asked. One is, this is the same question, 3125. First question is, first tell whether it has a terminating decimal expansion or non-terminating. So that we have done, then it has a terminating decimal expansion. Second is, if I ask you, after how many places of decimals will it terminate? In that case, I need not find the final answer. I just have to tell after how many places will it terminate. So now you look at the denominator, it is 5 raised to the power 5. So you know that we need to multiply it with 2 to the power 5, and that makes it 10 to the power 5 in the denominator. 10 to the power 5 means the decimal will terminate after 5 places of decimals, because we have put the decimal starting from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places, and then we put a decimal. That means that decimal will terminate after 5 places of decimals. So you need not even multiply the numerator in this case. Just by looking at the denominator, the power of 10 will tell you after how many places the decimal will terminate. So you can say after 5 places of decimal it will terminate. And the third one is, find the decimal expansion of this number, that we have already found out, and this is the answer. So don't get confused between the three types of questions. If it has been asked what type of decimal expansion, then simply by looking at the prime factorization of the denominator, you can say whether terminating or non-terminating. Secondly, if they say after how many places will it terminate, then look at the power of the 10 in the denominator, and then you can say after so many places it will terminate. And then if they say find the decimal expansion, then you have to do it till the last point. So I hope it's clear. Let's take one more example of, let me take the 7th part now. It is 129 divided by 2 raised to the power 2, 5 raised to the power 7 and 7 raised to the power 5. By looking at the number, you see the numerator is 129 and it is not going to be divisible, because in the denominator if you see 2 and 5s we don't have any problem even if they remain. We have a problem with this 7. But that's very much clear, 7 to the power 5 is going to be a very big number and obviously it will not be cancelled with 129. It means that 7 is going to remain in the denominator. So you can say as the prime factorization of the denominator contains factor other than 2 and 5, hence it is a non-terminating repeating decimal. And in this case you need not do any other part, because if it is non-terminating repeating, you don't have to find out the decimal expansion. Now suppose I take a number as 4th part, 15 upon 1600. So let's first find out the prime factorization of the denominator. It is, if you want to write it orally, you can write it this way, 16 into 100. Then 16 you know is 2 raised to the power 4. 100 is 10 into 10. And 10 is 2 into 5. So it will be 2 square into 5 square. If I combine, I will get 15 upon 2 raised to the power 6 into 5 raised to the power of 2. So in any case, in the denominator we don't have any factor other than 2 and 5. So it will be a terminating decimal. But yes, it is not in the lowest form. So let's first convert it into its lowest form. Even if you don't do it, it won't make much difference in this case. As far as 2s and 5s are there, we don't have to cancel them out. Whether we cancel or we don't cancel, it will not make any difference. So it is 3 upon 2 raised to the power 6 into 5. So can I say it will be a terminating decimal? Yes, it will be a terminating decimal. Now I have to decide after how many places will it terminate. So what will I do? I have to find the decimal expansion also. So here I have, how many 2s are there? 6 2s are there. How many 5s are there? Only 1 5 is there. So in order to make a pairing with 2, I need 5 more 5s, so that the total number of 5s become 6 in the denominator. So what will I do? I will multiply and divide by 5 raised to the power 5 here, both. So that it becomes 3 into 5 raised to the power 5 upon 2 to the power 6 into 5 raised to the power of 6. So we can say it is equal to 3 into 5 raised to the power 5 is 3125 divided by 10 raised to the power 6. After this step you can say it will terminate after 6 places of decimal. And now to find out the exactly the decimal expansion of this number, just multiply the numerator. You will get 5 is 15, 7 and 9375 divided by 10 to the power 6, which will give you, now 1, 2, 3, 4 digits are already there. I need to put 2 more zeros after the decimal, 009375. This is the decimal expansion of the given rational number. Otherwise, if you think that we are going to find out the decimal expansion by simple division, do you think it is possible? It is going to be a very, very complicated answer. First you multiply 7 5 times, then you multiply 5 7 times, then you multiply 2 times, multiply 3 of them, and then you get such a big digit in the denominator, and then you divide 129 by that number. It's going to be a very, very difficult task. So this is how we find out the decimal expansion of the given numbers. If I take one more last example and then we'll move on to the next question. Suppose I take an example, last part, say 77 upon 210. So the first thing I have to do is to write down the prime factorization of the denominator. 210 is 21 into 10. Instead of doing that long process of finding the prime factorization, you can break it up like this and you can write it. So this is the prime factorization of the denominator. So just by looking at this, I would not like to say it is non-terminating, because you have 3 and 7 in the denominator and 77 in the numerator. So let's first convert it into the lowest form. Even after converting into the lowest form, you are getting 3 into 2 into 5. So in the denominator, other than 2 and 5, you have a factor 3 also. So what kind of decimal expansion will it be? Non-terminating and repeating decimal expansion. And now coming over to question number 3. Question number 3 says, the following real numbers have decimal expansions as given below. In each case, decide whether they are rational or not. If they are rational and of the form p by q, what can you say about the prime factors of q? So first of all, you have to see whether it is a rational number or not. If it is a rational number, then you have to tell what kind of denominator will it have. This is your first number given to you. Now, what kind of decimal? Decimals, you know, there are 3 types of decimals. First is terminating, second is non-terminating, repeating, third is non-terminating, non-repeating. Out of these 3, first one represents a rational number, second one also represents a rational number, and the third one represents irrational numbers. So by looking at the decimal expansion, let us first decide whether it is a terminating decimal, non-terminating decimal. So whether it is rational or irrational. So as we can see, there is no dash after 9. It means it is terminating decimal. If it is a terminating decimal, it means it is a rational number. Okay. Now the question says, if it is a rational number, then we can write it in the p by q form. Yes. So by looking at the decimal expansion, decide what kind of denominator will it have. We have done it in so much of detail that what kind of denominator gives you a terminating decimal. That the denominator should be of the form of 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. Right? Second part is 0. Just a minute. Question number 2, 3. Second part is 0.1201, 2001, then 20001, 200001, and so on. This is a number. So what kind of decimal expansion is this? This is a non-terminating and non-repeating decimal expansion, and hence it is not a rational number, but it is an irrational number. Because it is irrational, we cannot write it in the form of p by q, so no question of what kind of denominator will it have. That question doesn't arise in this case. The third part is 43.12345678 and the bar on all these. Bar means that these numbers are going to repeat. If I write on the expanded form of this number, it will be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again and again they will keep on repeating. So what kind of decimal expansion is this? It is a non-terminating but repeating decimal expansion. These type of decimals come under the category of rational number. So this number represents a rational number. Because it can represent a rational number, so it can be written in the form of p by q. Yes. So again, we have done that what kind of denominator gives you non-terminating and repeating decimal. It is of the form 2 raised to the power n, 5 raised to the power m into x raised to the power p, where all n, m and p are non-negative integers and x is any number, any prime factor other than 2 and 5. This is the answer for Q in this case. If it is a terminating, we write only 2 to the power n into 5 to the power m. But when it is non-terminating repeating, we write one more factor here, x to the power p, where x is any factor other than 2 and 5. So in this case, you will write, this is a very important question, what kind of denominator will a given rational number have? I again repeat, if it is a terminating decimal, Q will be in the form of 2 to the power n into 5 to the power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. If it is non-terminating repeating, then it is of the form 2 to the power n, 5 to the power m and x to the power p, where n, m, p are all non-negative integers. X is any other prime factor, any prime factor other than 2 and 5.